So it looks like we caught up back in 2023. We had a long form interview. So
Yeah,
we'll kind of catch up now and see what's been going on since then. So I
cool.
remember that interview well. It was a wonderfully engaging conversation. So it's great to catch back up with you. Thank you for taking a minute
Thanks.
out today.
Yeah, no, thanks for agreeing to meet up again.
Yeah, you bet. So 2 years ago, it seems like, especially with what's going on in America, things have gotten just kind of a little bit off the rails and strange. So I want to begin before we get into your work. What is your perception, you and everybody in England, when you open the papers or open the proverbial browser and see what's unfolding in America? What happens? What are you thinking?
I tend not to.
Okay.
I tend to not get involved. It's like, oh, what crazy thing is happening now? It's hard. Well, in fairness, though, I guess it's hard to not get involved sometimes, especially when we are talking about international stuff, like for example the Iran war. So like oil prices and stuff. So I guess I'm affected somewhat, but at the same time, it's not as if I'm sort of like, I don't know, watching the space to see what happens next. I mean, no, I've got better things to do.
I try to not do it, but I just want to make sure that is everything okay? Is there something that like is hurtling towards me that I need to outrun? Is the Indiana Jones boulder coming at my feet? So, but I would imagine, especially stateside with the work that you're doing, that has to
Yeah.
be a huge part of the clientele mindset, the way that people are processing this reality.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it does depend, and I guess in some way that's good because if someone's spiraling because of an external event, that's one way of sort of like reining them in and helping them understand that the internal process is much more important than whatever external event that they're worrying about. So it's actually good.
And I guess things have been kind of a little weird in Parliament and in England as well. There's been a lot of turnover.
Yeah, yeah. Well, right now there is a new prime minister. Like I think he was sworn in a couple of days ago or so.
Yeah.
But even I don't even really pay too much mind about like English politics either, to be honest. So I
Well, the one thing that I find whenever I talk about what's going on with people around the world, it's
yeah,
there tends to be a trend towards this kind of the thing that we're seeing that's happening here. It's happening everywhere, but I guess it's just an air bubble we're gonna have to work out in our human timeline. So, but let
exactly.
let's get into what's going on. What's been so 2 years have elapsed. What's new? What's going on? What's been on your horizon?
Yeah, so well, I think I reached out to you. Well, okay, I was thinking about reaching out to you anyway because my I've recently published a book. I published it in December, so I was going to reach out to you just to sort of to talk about that. But
Sure.
since then, I discovered that emotion equation. You know, the slides that I sent to you. So I thought, well, as important as the book is, I think it is important. It's jam-packed with lots of helpful ideas. The emotion equation is just it's yeah, really good.
So lay it out. Lay it out in plain terms, and then we'll kind of peel back the layers.
Okay. Well, actually, can I? Oh, because did you see the slides? Did
I
you?
did see that. Yes, I did. I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
When you
okay.
came over.
So
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
all right. So it's just the idea that believe it or not, our emotions can be whittled down to an equation, and I think I've come up with a good estimation of what that equation would kind of involve. And ha have you heard of IFS, internal family
Yes, I
systems?
have. I have heard of that before. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so the people who haven't, because like quite a few of my clients haven't, I say it's kind of like Inside Out, like Riley, 10-year-old. It a lot of the film feature, a lot of the Pixar animation is inside her head, and we're introduced to five characters, her five different emotions, and so IFS really kind of tries to highlight the fact that all of us have like sort of like guys inside our head like running the show, calling the shots. And so when I learned IFS, I thought, no, this makes sense. But then I realized that IFS was like a trauma model, and I identified four parts that aren't necessarily included in a trauma model. They are a general team that also process trauma as well. So that's the those are the parts responsible for the emotion equation.
So how did you come up with it? How did you have this epiphany? How did it, I mean, did it take years and years? How did you get to this point where you broke it down to this?
Kind of. I mean, because I started to write a book called The Algorithm, and that was just a kind of a general equation about happiness. So if you learn algorithm, which is based on something like now called the genie lamp hypothesis, which is, well, we have negative emotions because we needed negative sensations to alert caregivers to unmet needs, and it's our negative emotions are a remnant of that now obsolete problem solving mechanic. So I was trying to find ways of just kind of summarizing that in a palatable or digestible way. I came up with different things, and the equation as it lands now, or as it is now, came about after I had learnt IFS and realized that there are different parts, and I realized that the IFS parts don't cover our general experience. So then I realized that I thought, what might those other parts do or be? So I kind of highlighted four parts, and seeing those four parts, I thought, well, I can make an equation out of this. I can show how those four parts interact with one another and produce our emotional output.
So how is this equation helping the way that you work? How is it changing the way that you approach clientele? Or has it been a sea change?
It's oh God, it's been a massive change. It's been a massive change because it helps you focus in on the certain area or the certain part of the brain that you can target and influence first to bring about the change that you want, as opposed to almost like groping blindly for something. It can help someone focus.
You know, we only use what, 15% of our brain?
Something like that. Yeah,
Something like
something
that.
like that.
So it's really about a part of like the equation and a part of the work of healing and localizing what we need to fix is just, I mean, we can do it. We just need to reroute. I mean, there's all of
Yeah.
this open terrain in our brain that we can tap into.
Yeah, we can do it if we have a good map. And psychology and I guess certain other disciplines try to provide a good map, but those maps are, I think, incomplete because they don't include a genie lamp hypothesis, which, like I said, explains why we have negative emotions in the first place. So I think this equation helps me identify an even more precise map or precise formula or strategy for governing those different variables or different parts of our mind so that we can get more out of life.
So I got a question, just kind of as a novice,
Sure,
yet someone that's fascinated with how the brain works.
sure.
Is hypnosis a little bit like that, where you're kind of taking a focus and you're like honing in on something?
I can't kind of, I guess. Hypnosis works by okay, there's a part of the brain there's an agency called the conscious critical faculty. That's the part of the brain that's like the gatekeeper of information. So if someone says something to you that doesn't sound quite right, the CCF or the conscious critical faculty steps in and says, well, no. It's almost like it's a bouncer to the things that we would otherwise let in and make real. So hypnosis distracts the conscious critical faculty. So it helps the bouncer step aside. So then the hypnotist is able to like walk inside the nightclub, communicate with the subconscious, and directly communicate with it. And once you direct with the subconscious like directly, you can prompt a whole host of changes because those changes aren't prompted usually because the CCF is getting in the way, saying, "Nope, I don't like that. It sounds unsafe, or it sounds false, or it sounds whatever." So it's a way of bypassing the CCF so that you can prompt change.
But isn't that one of the tricky things of being a human is there's so much of what we do that's subconscious. There's so
Oh
much
yeah. Oh God.
of everything that exists below the surface that we're
Oh
trying to
God.
fetter
Yeah.
through and figure out.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that like what you talk about, like rerouting your brain to get into this one place. How does
Yeah.
the subconscious become a part of something where you can be cognizant of it? Because I feel like the older I get, the more I hearken back to early memories of things of like, why am I this way? And it's like there's a lot of it that's subconscious. Like when I wake up and I have a dream, I'm like, why did I do that? Why was that? And it's because it was just sitting there waiting to be awakened.
Pretty much. Yeah, the unconscious is it's a mystery. It's going to remain a mystery, but because we have certain tools like perception, using our intellect and stuff, we can come up with a model of what the unconscious is up to. So that's the best we can do. It's always going to be guesswork, and I think again this equation highlights certain parts of the unconscious or certain parts that are working in an unconscious way so you can see what's happening, you can trace, you can say, okay, well, I felt bad, I felt that emotion in that scenario because that part interacted with that part, and then that part then kind of intervened. And
Yeah. So in December, you released your book, Find Your Path to
yeah,
Resilience.
yeah.
How long have you been thinking about writing this book?
Well, a while now, because I was approached by the publishing company asking if I could write a book on. I think they gave me a choice of three. So resilience was one of them. Acceptance was another, and I forget what the other one was. And I originally said, oh yeah, well, first of all, I think I could write a book on all three. So I met someone who said, actually, no, I think I can write one on all three, but let me see if I can give acceptance a go. And so I met up with someone who said, oh, actually, well, could you do resilience instead? So I was, yeah, fine. So, and luckily enough, I had already started my book, which well, my kind of my personal book, which was describing my therapeutic approach that I've been developing for the last 5, 6 years. So luckily enough, I was able to take some of what I had originally written and adapt it and produce the resilience book.
It seems timely because when I think about when we interviewed, I always start with the COVID question. Like, how did you get through it? How did it affect you? And it feels like when the planet went through that time period, we had to really embrace resilience, especially young people.
Definitely,
Like my son's on the
definitely.
spectrum. And the one
Mhm.
thing that I thought would be that would be a good outgrowth of that is that
Mhm.
he would just understand that we just have to be resilient. There's so many things that are going to go upside down. So is there
Yeah.
a level of releasing this now in light of the pandemic that's probably timely for people because there was such a time for resilience for us to learn it?
I think so, and I do refer to that in the book as well. I mean, surely the pandemic is a very recent and significant example of just how much resilience we naturally have because no one knows what's around the corner. No, no, well, I don't think many people would have guessed the pandemic was going to happen. All of a sudden, we were in it, having to cope in the best way that we can, making lots of adjustments, and a lot of people did. A lot of people just adjusted because I think we are built to adjust. And if there's a problem there, that problem is probably due to us saying, well, I want to adjust, but I don't think I'll feel safe. So part of my work is help them um, explore, well, why? What bad thing are they protecting themselves from? And does it exist? Well, is there a cost? And if so, is the cost too high? A lot of the times there isn't even a cost, and if there is a cost, it's a cost that we can bear because we're built to cope. We
Yes,
are built to cope.
certainly. So when you were approached, you said I can write all three books. So obviously you're ready to go. It's something that's in your wheelhouse. How long
Yeah.
did this book take? How did you piece this together? Did it take a while? How long did it take for you to actually construct it?
Well, I had a 6 month time frame to work with, and maybe I had been writing the book prior to that for around 3 years. So I guess in total around 3.5 years. So yeah, give or take.
So my question to you is this: who is this book for? For anybody out there that's listening, for the elevator pitch, who should pick up this book? Who is this made for?
Everybody.
Okay.
Anyone, anyone who can read, because it's like it's about resilience, but I do include lots of general philosophy. I talk about the genie lamp hypothesis, even though I call it something different now. I call it the baby theory. But I think anyone can benefit from learning more about their unconscious processes
Yeah.
and the reason why we have negative emotions changes everything. It's our view stems from our sense of good and bad and our good feelings and bad feelings. So once you see what's really going on, your universe could change dramatically.
So how has this book affected your work and your perception of the field and clients and overall? How much has this boosted what you're doing?
It's well, maybe in one way, it's made me a bit more confident. It's made me, even though I kind of thought I don't know how sort of I don't want to sound big-headed, but I kind of thought after because I wanted to write a book, I wanted to be published for ages. I mean, even before I was into philosophy, I was into writing, so I just what like being published was a dream, and so I thought. Say if I were to think about having a book published like 10 years ago, I thought I would be like mentioning it to everybody, kind of just people on the street even. But no, but now I have a different view. Now I wouldn't even say unless someone asks because it's not. I'm yeah my identity or ego isn't sort of embroiled in that. If someone is curious, then I'll tell them. But yeah, I'm a lot more.
Isn't that a part of wisdom and the passage of time? You just get to a point when you get older where it's like there's just things that are different. You're
Pretty
focusing on different
much.
things.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been on the streets for going on seven months now. What has
Yeah.
been the response? What kind of responses have you been getting?
Yeah, generally good. I mean, I've only received the one kind of royalty statement so far. I know I think it sold like 800 copies in the first week or something. So I think that's good. But at the same time, I'm guessing that's probably because it was the first week, so that included like pre-orders and stuff like that. So, but I think generally good. The people who've read it and who've given me feedback. Um, uh, Hopefully they're being genuine. That they said it has been good, very informative, very easy to read as well. So I think that was something really, really important. I think if I wrote this 20 years ago, I think I would have tried to sound academic or I think tried to sound intellectual, but I realized that well, sure, what's the point of writing something if the person reading isn't going to understand easily? So I've tried to make it as simple as possible, plain English, maybe the odd I don't know, fancy sounding word, but not to sound fancy, just the sort of just to make what I'm trying to describe easier to talk about, I guess.
So I feel like, in my other incarnation as a jazz radio guy, when I talk to musicians, when music comes out, they're already moving on to the next thing. Like by the
Yeah,
time we're promoting it, they've
yeah.
written it, they've produced it, they've edited it. They're like, I'm moving on. So my question to you is this: Are you moving on to the next project? Where are you at with the possibility of another book?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I've started to write. I've started to write my next book already, and that's going to be geared around the emotion equation because I think
Okay.
my work, that emotion equation is now like the staple of my work because I can, yeah, map out what I want to do, map out where the client is, using that as a reference point. So my next book will just, I guess, go into more detail because unfortunately the equation isn't in the existing book because I think yeah that book was published in December. I think I stumbled on this equation around March, maybe March, April or so, maybe a bit before. So yeah, it's going to be very emotion equation and perception orientated. The next one.
So when you come up with this level of groundbreaking equation in your field, do you have to copyright this? How do you protect this?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really protected it. I've just, yeah. Look at it. Hey, world. Look what I found.
I'm just curious because I mean I think about like just when people create things, you think, oh well, they created this gadget that you can use in your kitchen. Well, they have to come up with all these things, but you have this
Yeah,
tangible idea that you use with clients that's a part of your foundation. So I'm
yeah,
just curious. Sometimes I like to look behind the curtain and be like, what's going on? How does all this transpire?
yeah, yeah.
So
So go on.
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. So if anybody wants to dig into the equation, they want to pick up the find your path to resilience, any of the good work that you're doing, where's the best place for people to go?
Yeah, I guess go to my website, which
Okay.
is just my name.com, byronathene.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I able to show it? Am I able to like put it up on the screen and
Yeah, please. Yeah.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just share. I'll share a page that highlights the equation and what the variables mean, and I'll quickly run through it in a way that
Perfect.
I hope makes sense to people tuning in. Now, hold on, where am I? So share. Send request. Okay, excellent. Right. Um, I'll just talk about the basic equation as opposed to the sort of the stuff that's going on behind the hood, because then that might take a while. So this is the basic equation. So m minus im multiplied by a equals e. So this explains that our
Yes.
so m stands for model of reality. That's the idea that our reality is just a model. Uh, IM is the ideal model. So the model is what seems to be the universe. The ideal model is what I would like there to be or what I think should be. A, acceptance. This is a range from acknowledging and not wanting to change, and acknowledging and thinking something needs to change, and then emotion. So this equation hopefully shows that our emotions stem from how much we accept the difference between what we have or what we think we have and what we think we want.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So, yeah, that totally breaks it down. Yeah, yeah. And I tend to be visual, so
Yeah,
that'll give everybody a good insight. So, well, perfect. Yeah. Thank you for putting
excellent.
that up there. Thank you for
No
illuminating that. And
worries. No
again,
worries.
your website, I will put that loud and clear in the show notes. We'll get
Thank
it
you.
out to the people. It's so great to catch up with you. I love these
Likewise.
rendezvous. These are always
Likewise.
wonderful. So thank you so much. Godspeed, and we'll catch up with the next book, man.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
All
Cheers,
right.
Joe.
Thank you.